Hello, my name is Vanessa, also known as Kenyan Queen. Welcome to another one of my videos. I'm going to be talking to you guys about early action, early decision, what those mean. Not everything that I'm going to tell you is going to necessarily work for you 100%. If it works for you, great, wonderful, go ahead and use it. If it doesn't work for you, take it with a grain of salt. Alright, early action, early decision. Some of them are restricted, some of them are unrestricted. I know, it's confusing. Here's what you have. You have early decision, early action restricted, and early action unrestricted. Early decision means that you are applying to a school earlier than the majority of the applicants. You're applying early because you really want to go to that school. If you are accepted into that school, you will drop all other schools and you will commit to going to that school. For example, you cannot apply to 2 early decision schools. 2 schools that if they accept you, you have to come. One, it is against the law for those schools to both accept you because you're violating 2 contracts at the same time. And 2, it is physically impossible for you to attend 2 schools at the same time. And because of that, they can blacklist your name on Common App and basically you won't be able to go anywhere for college. So you don't want to do that. Then you have early action. There are 2 types of early action. Both of early actions mean that you are applying before everybody else. However, you will not necessarily attend that school if accepted. It's like a marriage proposal. There's a type of marriage proposal where you have to say yes, and there's another one where you're like, I can decide that I don't want to. Does that make sense? The difference in early action is that there's one that is restricted and there's one that is unrestricted. Restricted means that if you apply early action here, you cannot apply early decision somewhere else. You can apply to all the other schools, but none of them can grab you and take you early decision and decide that you are going to that school. Early action unrestricted basically means you're just applying early. That's the only thing. You don't have to come, and that was never a part of the agreement. It's just to get your foot in the water before everybody else does. A lot of these deadlines are usually before the beginning of November. The dates themselves are different, it just depends on the school. So make sure to read the fine print and make sure you figure out which schools are early decision, which schools are early action, which schools are early action restricted, which ones are unrestricted, and categorize them so that you know which is which and when to apply to when. Applying early action and applying early decision has a lot of perks, and there's a lot of reasons as to why you should do it. One, there are a ton of scholarships that are only available to people who apply early action or early decision. Generally speaking, the scholarships are better if you apply before everybody else gets access to them. You also have better chances, especially when it comes to those selective schools. For example, I always talk about Penn because Penn is where I go to school, but it's also the school I have the most familiarity with. For Penn, they had an acceptance rate of 9%. However, 50% of the accepted class got accepted early decision and 50% got accepted regular decision. Okay, what does that matter? Why do I care? In early decision, there are 5,000 applicants. In regular decision, there were 35,000 applicants. That is a huge difference. They accepted about 1,300 students early decision out of 5,000 applicants, and they accepted the remaining 2,000, give or take, out of 35,000. If you're just looking at numbers, one of them has a higher acceptance rate than the other. As in, if you apply early decision, your chances of being accepted are about, let's do some calculation, 25%. Whereas if you apply regular decision, your chances are more like 3-4%. So it's in your best interest to apply early decisions so that you have the best chance of getting into those schools. If you're doing this, it's a great time to use legacy. Legacy means that either your parents or your grandparents attended the school that you are looking into. I know this is controversial. I know it's controversial. Even from talking to other people about it, it seems as though legacy only counts if you apply early decision or early action. I applied early decision to the University of Pennsylvania. I did not make it in on early decision, but I do not regret applying for early decision. I applied early decision to Penn because of the fact that it was my #1 school. It fit everything in my match list. I have a video over here about match listing and how to figure out which schools fit you best. I would only recommend it for somebody who is dead set on going to a school. I had friends of mine who applied early decision into schools that they didn't love, and I feel like that's just not the move. Like, I just don't think that makes any sense. You can do it if you feel like you'll grow to love the school if you're accepted to it, and I guess you have to be one of those types of people. But I was somebody who, if the school doesn't feel right, I'm never gonna feel at home there. And so I think applying early decision or early action restricted to a school that you don't love is a very risky choice to make. I'm not saying it's not wise. It really depends on how important it is for you to get into a school and how important maybe name is or recognition. If that's really what you want, then go for it. But I would recommend that you only apply early decision or early action to a school that you really, really would love if you had to go somewhere. If the option is there to apply early action unrestricted, just do it. Like, there's no penalty for doing it. You have the application out of the way. You find out about your decision earlier than everybody else. You have your safety schools. Usually this only happens for safety schools, but it's really nice because you have your safety schools under your belt. So at the very least, you know you're going somewhere, which is always comforting. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you really liked it, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Also, make sure to like this video so that I know that you guys love videos like this and you would like for me to make more. TTYLXOX.